The Forge of Unity. The Interstellar Council had never been anything more than a hushed chamber of posturing. The great hall of Thaleth Station, a monolithic relic from a forgotten empire, echoed with the whisper of alliances made and broken, deals struck in shadows, and wars justified with gilded words. It was a stage for the titans of the galaxy, the empires that carved the stars with their fleets and banners to bicker and barter. But for all its grandeur, the council was toothless. It governed no one, protected no one, and enforced nothing. It was an illusion of order in a chaotic galaxy. That changed with humanity. When humanity was first noticed, they were little more than a curiosity. Their first forays into faster-than-light travel were crude by galactic standards, but promising. The Trellic Dominion, an empire known for snapping up fledgling civilizations and exploiting their resources, wasted no time. They descended upon humanity with elegant, crystalline ships armed with shimmering energy weapons and deflector shields that had crushed countless civilizations before. But humanity did not crumble. They did not kneel. The Trellic fleet's first encounter with Earth's defense forces was not what they expected. Instead of sleek ships designed for maneuverability, they faced armored behemoths, bristling with railguns and kinetic weapons. These weapons did not burn or dazzle. They struck with the raw, unrelenting force of physics itself. Slugs the size of shuttles were hurled at relativistic speeds, turning Trellic warships into twisted wreckage before their shields could even react. On the ground, hypersonic projectiles tore through their invincible legions, leaving no room for retreat. Humanity's message was clear. They would not be conquered. The war was short and brutal. The Trellic Dominion, for all its sophistication, could not withstand humanity's sheer adaptability and ingenuity. And when the last Trellic fleet limped away from Sol, humanity did something unexpected. They reached out to the other species under Trellic rule. It was not an offer of dominance, but of unity. When humanity arrived at the Interstellar Council as victors, they did not come to gloat or impose. They came to listen. They sought out the forgotten and downtrodden, the civilizations that had been stripped of their pride and power by centuries of imperial exploitation. Humanity stood not as conquerors but as protectors, offering the one thing the Council had never been able to provide: hope. In the years that followed, humanity reshaped the Council through their actions. Every time an empire launched a war of conquest, humanity stood against them. They deployed their unyielding fleets and indomitable soldiers to defend those who could not defend themselves. But they did not stop there. Humanity's engineers worked tirelessly to uplift their allies. For the Ilaran, a fragile species with a talent for engineering, humanity developed crisis suits, exoskeletons that turned their delicate forms into mobile fortresses. For the Sonarii, whose melodic voices could shape stone but not defend against blades, humanity crafted sonic projectors, turning their songs into weapons. Every ally who stood with humanity returned stronger, more capable of standing on their own. The Council itself began to change. No longer just a forum for the powerful, it became a place where the weak found a voice. Humanity's insistence on justice and equity inspired others to act. The fractured alliances of old began to mend, not through coercion, but through shared purpose. The dead empire that had built Thaleth Station had dreamed of a united galaxy but failed. Humanity, the youngest of the stars, was making that dream a reality. The turning point came when the Karani Dominion, an empire that had dominated the Outer Rim for millennia, declared war on a fledgling alliance of former slaves. The council chamber was silent as the Karani ambassador delivered their ultimatum, daring anyone to intervene. Humanity answered. As the ambassador ranted about the inevitability of Karani victory, a single human delegate, Commander Elena Voss, stood. She spoke not with bravado, but with conviction. "Your fleets will burn," she said simply. "Not because we are stronger or more advanced, but because we stand together. And when the smoke clears, it will not be humanity you fear. It will be the galaxy you tried to break." The war that followed was the largest in living memory. But it was not fought by humanity alone. The Ilaran pilots, clad in their crisis suits, outmaneuvered Karani warships. Sonari warriors armed with sonic projectors shattered Karani fortresses. Every species humanity had uplifted fought alongside them, not as dependents but as equals. When the Karani Dominion fell, the Council was no longer a fragile forum. It was something new. Thaleth Station, once a hollow monument to a dead empire, became the heart of a united galaxy. The Interstellar Council was no longer a place for the powerful to barter. It was a beacon of hope, a forge where justice was tempered by unity. And at its center stood humanity, not as rulers, but as the spark that had reignited the stars. The One Human are preparing what?
The meeting took place aboard a neutral station orbiting a long-dead star. Halakrith waited in a sterile metallic chamber that reeked faintly of antiseptic. Across from them sat the One Human Corporation's representative, a human dressed in simple but elegant black attire, bearing no rank insignia or apparent weapons. The human's unassuming demeanor belied the aura of calm confidence they exuded. "Envoy Halakrith," the human began, their voice a perfect balance of warmth and professionalism. "I am Captain Elisa Morrow, a liaison for One Human. I understand you are interested in our services." Halakrith studied Morrow carefully, noting the clarity in her eyes and the faint smirk that suggested a confidence bordering on arrogance. "We are considering it. The advertisement you broadcast was compelling, if difficult to believe." Morrow chuckled. "That's fair. Most clients start with skepticism. But I assure you, our results speak for themselves. Let's discuss what you need." The envoy shifted uncomfortably. "The Viandran hegemony has amassed an armada. Our intelligence estimates a 4-to-1 advantage in their favor. We need effective countermeasures." Morrow leaned forward, her gaze sharpening. "Understood. Let's start with your budget. The more you invest, the more force we can deploy. But adaptability is our strength. Even a modest force can achieve incredible results with the right strategy." Halakrith hesitated. "Define incredible results." "Victory," Morrow said simply, "with fewer casualties than you'd expect. That's what we sell." The envoy took a deep breath. "We have liquidated resources and diverted reserves. We can afford what your contract terms describe as a medium battle group." Morrow's face brightened. "A solid choice. A medium battle group gives us flexibility. Enough assets to apply pressure where it matters without spreading too thin. Let's see." She tapped a small datapad, bringing up a holographic display. The projection listed an array of options: armored infantry, mechanized units, orbital assets, electronic warfare specialists, and more. Halakrith noted that each category was disturbingly customizable, with sub-options labeled things like psychological destabilization teams and precision chaos insertion squads. "Here's the standard medium group," Morrow began, pointing to a well-rounded formation. "But let me tweak this to address your specific needs." Her fingers danced across the interface. The configuration shifted rapidly, shedding certain units and adding others. Orbital bombardment assets disappeared, replaced by stealth infiltrators. Heavy mechanized divisions gave way to small, high-mobility strike teams. A section labeled Civilian Impact Operations briefly flickered before being locked out. Halakrith's mandibles twitched nervously. "This is not standard." "Exactly," Morrow replied. "The Viandrans have predictable strategies. Overwhelming numbers, rigid command structures, and a cultural disdain for perceived weaker species. This configuration exploits all of that." She pointed to the stealth units. "These will disrupt their logistics, fuel lines, communication hubs, even their morale." Then to the strike teams. "These will sow chaos in their rear formations, forcing them to redirect forces." Finally, she highlighted an innocuous line item labeled Cognitive Adversary Adaptation Unit. "And these?" Halakrith asked. "Our specialists," Morrow said, a glint in her eye. "They'll focus entirely on the enemy commanders, exploiting every psychological and tactical flaw to shatter their cohesion." Halakrith's second heart pounded as they stared at the new configuration. It was precise, surgical, terrifying. "This does not resemble conventional warfare." "Conventional warfare is why the Viandrans think they'll win," Morrow said. "We'll show them the cost of underestimating humans." The envoy hesitated, their claws lightly scratching the table. "And this will stay within our budget?" Morrow smiled. "Precisely. You get what you pay for, envoy. And I assure you, what you're buying is more than enough to turn the tide." Halakrith nodded, though unease churned within them. The Kriktan were a proud species steeped in honor and tradition. What Morrow proposed felt almost dishonorable, yet survival trumped honor. "Very well," Halakrith said at last. "We accept your proposal." Morrow extended a hand, her grin widening. "Then let's end this war, envoy." As Halakrith clasped her hand, they couldn't shake the feeling that they had unleashed something far more dangerous than the Viandrans could ever imagine.